Warning, the following images in this video might not be suitable for all users. We expect all children under 17 and pregnant mothers who may be expecting to currently leave the room. And now, on with the show. So, welcome to G for G, everybody. It's your host, They Palmed On, and today we're going to go ahead and talk about the cyberpunk controversies. So, I'm going to stay away from the more political one that's going on around there, or the opinion piece on it, I should say. I defended Cyberpunk once in the past when people were quite upset at the image of the model that was being displayed in the subway. And I defended CD Projekt Red having the ability to display that because we don't know the context. At this point, I still don't know about that one. So that's not what we're here to talk about. What we are here to talk about today is, of course, the bugs and the performance. So what you see on my screen currently is my GOG.com Galaxy client. Good old games client, sort of like Steam and Battle.net and everything. I wanted to bring this up because I want you guys to see that I have Cyberpunk from GOG.com and I pre-ordered it. And it is on my machine. It is just currently going through a download to update it. As you can see, it's a big update, apparently. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, we got to talk about all the issues that are plaguing this game and the controversies behind it leading up to a day or two before it actually went fully live. I chose to purchase it on GOG.com or goodoldgamers.com because that is the platform I felt most closely was working with CD Projekt Red and thought really most deserved my business in this one compared to Steam or anything else. I felt happy, going with GOG.com on this one rather than like Epic or Steam or the Microsoft Store or something like that. So, I'm doing this to show you that I have it, and it is staying installed. The only game that I've really ever backed out on when it had bugs and everything was Warcraft 3. The remaster, because I truly feel like Blizzard absolutely deceived the shit out of people when it came to that game. And, I had pre-ordered it, I had the Horde meat wagon mount and everything, and I gave that up to give Warcraft 3 back. But that is really the only game that I have ever been like, you know what, take this back, you absolute piles of carrion garbage. I have Marvel Avengers still installed on my Xbox One, and, starting to play it again thanks to Kate Bishop, and much like Cyberpunk, I get Kate Bishop to T-pose all the time when using her teleport abilities. She literally floated in the air just a few days back, and I was playing it. My girlfriend was downstairs at the time. I said, look at this, and she's like, wow, she's just kind of doing an Iron Man impression. Just floating in midair and just, floated her up to a platform as if I was like Doctor Strange levitating or something. Still like the game, still going to play the game, still going to go through Kate's campaign and everything and see if I like her as an actual character. So it takes a bit for me to give up on a game, and since I haven't even played Cyberpunk yet, thanks to the frenzy of activity with World of Warcraft Shadowlands and of course Kate Bishop over in Marvel, I decided to not launch Cyberpunk yet and let the bugs and the fixes cook and everything. I was gonna actually play it launch day and then stop, but it just didn't happen. So I wanted to show you guys that I do own the game and I'm not giving up on the game before I even try it. So let's go ahead and talk about what's going on. So the bugs are just crazy, between people T-posing to story characters referencing things that don't exist and just like popping in, popping out. Apparently on the consoles it's super bad, and what one of the big things is that people who were reviewing this the day before it came out were saying that they could only use pre-rendered footage, and they could not review Xbox and PlayStation copies, only the PC. So that doesn't look good on its face. Even if you were just that day before the release, you didn't know what was happening, and reviewers were saying, there's kind of like an embargo going on, we can't show you stuff that isn't given to us by CD Projekt Red, then, yeah, that's a giant question mark. And of course we had the whole... I'm just going to scroll through these things really quick. The open crotch dongs going on. Now people are T-posing naked. So there is a way of looking at yourself from a third-person perspective, I believe, on the motorcycles and the cars, where you just kind of wind up looking like the Proud Boys at the pro-Trump rally that was over the last weekend. You're just naked with your ass cheeks just hanging out. And that's apparently how you're being rendered. Now, here's the thing that I can kind of defend for a little bit. To save frames and to save performance, I can imagine something not being rendered if it was below the standard player's view. World of Warcraft Vanilla was notorious for that. It's like if you looked at the other side of a cliff that you were never supposed to see, it'd just be like a flat, untextured wrap. It was absolutely terrible. Look at old vanilla WoW exploration videos, and the world beyond what you could see directly was total garbage, which is why it got revamped in Cataclysm when you could fly. But something like this is just ridiculous, and I can't imagine that this would have saved too many frames or anything. So, I mean, especially on the bike. It's one thing if in the car you're only ever going to see yourself in a window, or like maybe in the rear view or side view mirrors or something. So they just never but they bothered to render the bottom part of the body. So if you were really saving frames and saving performance, it would just essentially be like a dummy, like a clothing jacket dummy from the shopping mall that would be in the car, and you wouldn't even have anything from the waist down. But no, you're there and you're naked, and here it is on a motorcycle. And over here we have an article from New York Times saying that Marcin Nowinski, I hope I pronounced that right, over in Warsaw, Poland, one of the game developers behind Cyberpunk 2077, has issued this letter, which is, first of all, we would like to start by apologizing to you for not showing the game on base last-gen consoles before it premiered, and in consequence, not allowing you to make a more informed decision. That is really, I mean, he attacked the big issue right there in the very first sentence. We should have paid more attention to making it play better on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. I do believe over on Reddit there are some fixes for AMD computers. I don't know how Nvidia is faring right now, but I've heard even the PC versions have some issues with performance. But I haven't experienced that one directly yet because I haven't played it. But second, we will fix bugs and crashes and improve the overall experience. The first round of updates has just been released, and the next one is coming within the next 7 days. Expect more, as we will update frequently whenever new improvements are ready. After the holidays, we'll continue working. We'll release 2 large patches, starting with patch number 1 in January, and then will be followed by patch number 2 in February. Together, these should fix the most prominent problems gamers are facing on last-gen consoles. We will be informing you about the content of each patch ahead of their release. They won't make the game on last gen look like it's running now on a high-spec PC or next-gen console, but it will be closer to that experience than it is now. Finally, we would always like everyone who buys our games to be satisfied with their purchase. We would appreciate it if you gave us a chance, but if you're not pleased with the game on your console and don't want to wait for updates, you can opt to refund your copy. For copies purchased digitally, please use the refund system at PSN or Xbox respectively. What about PC copies? I guess they should say if it's a digital PC copy, go to that retailer. They need to call that out. PC gamers will also be getting regular updates, fixes, improving the game. Should this not be possible, please contact us at helpmerefund at CD Projekt Red, and we will do our best. Starting from today, you can contact us for a week until December 21st. So, just recently in this group, there was a post, interesting bed, by the way, Japanese gamer bed. This post over here about Sony refunding unhappy Cyberpunk 2077 fans, which does go into what they were saying, go to the store for the console. I wanted to reveal what I said about it because there was a comment here that honestly, once you get used to the graphics, which they improved a bit, it's a great game. Haven't even been on the Warzone. It's so griping. I don't think we give the devs enough credit because of the amount of constant pressure. And then a friend of mine agreed and said, I feel gamers are way too impatient, want games flawless and bug-free with no wait or delay. My response to this is a little bit harsh, because 2020 has proven two sides of the coin here. My response was I feel several things on Cyberpunk 2077. First, it's been around for almost 8 years. They already delayed it once. They broke their crunch promise. And, consumerism. If you go and get a burger at BurgerFi that wasn't cooked the way you asked, you send it back, or you get your money back. So, some extrapolation on this. The crunch promise. The head of CD Projekt Red said they were not going to do crunch for Cyberpunk. And then he admitted, coming down the stretch, that they were going to so they could meet the deadline. I believe it's also been mentioned that they have crunched several times in 2077's life cycle, despite him saying that they won't. That's bad. That's a really heavy broken promise, because that was one of the things that gamers said, man, CD Projekt Red is getting it right. They're not going to do crunch. They're not going to be bastards about this. It's respectable, not like, say, EA or Bethesda and everything, and then they wind up breaking it. Then the guy said, we will do like profit sharing. If the game is really successful and gets good scores and everything, you'll get more money. He is saying now, I hope he does it, that I don't care about the reviews. They're going to get this stuff anyway. So my next paragraph here is, you can choose to be patient or choose to be impatient on this one, but the returners have a point. They had time on this. FF7 got delayed. That got it right. Marvel Avengers got delayed. It failed. This game, Cyberpunk, failed. While Shadowlands was delayed, and they did better than they had before. So, meaning when Biffa or Battle for Azeroth was in beta, Blizzard didn't listen to the beta feedback and still released a trash product. Shadowlands, they heard the complaints and everything during the beta of like Turgas and a lot of other things, and they did in fact release a pretty good expansion pack to World of Warcraft that is pulling people back and is now apparently the #1 selling computer game in history. Amazing, considering Biffa was garbage. But anyway, so you can absolutely push things back and get them right. The bugs in this are simple and very visible. It's just shoddy, especially coming from a well-loved company. I have it, but haven't installed it yet. Which it was actually installed. I just hadn't played it yet. I kept Marvel Avengers Alliance and will keep this, but I did return the WC3 remaster. Gamers have had to put up with bullshit like this long enough with No Man's Sky, Colonial, Alien Marines, etc., etc., etc. The game needed several betas of real people testing. I believe that is definitely one of the bigger things in this, is that if they had gotten some betas out there, if they had gotten a console beta weekend, a couple of them, if it was in beta on the PC, a closed invite beta, if they did what Overwatch did, where they let bigger streamers do it, the Shrouds, the Ninjas, Co-Carnage, Dr. Disrespect, or something like that. Um, Maybe some of these things could have been ironed out. I mean, even, oh God, how can we forget Fallout 76? The Fallout Online MMO. How could we not mention that in the list of games that betrayed us and everything? Uh, First, Keanu Reeves' performance in this is called stilted by a lot of people. I was watching Co-Carnage play it, and I get what people mean, but that kind of is what Keanu Reeves does. Um, I mean, he's not Shakespearean, I guess, about his stuff. If you look at John Wick, a lot of that is action, and I heard a lot of John Wick Keanu Reeves in the little that I was, or half hour, 20 minutes that I was watching Co-Carnage play Cyberpunk. Um, I mean, this is the original whoa from Point Break and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Dracula, which we can't forget about. He was kind of written off for a long time as an actor, and then started rebounding with The Matrix and Johnny Mnemonic, which is one of my favorite movies, despite how cheesy it may stand up to be in today's society. Um, I I will say two things on this one. If you want to be patient, let them fix the bugs. I mean, it's the holiday season. There's going to be a lot of games. You're probably going to have a lot of game gifts and everything coming on Christmas and everything. So if you want to shuffle Cyberpunk off and let it fix itself and then come back to it in January, especially after this first large patch, that's fine. But if you want to return it, that's also fine. And you have the right to, and no, you're not a bitchy whiner for doing it. Like so often gamers are portrayed with it, because we watch them get it right at times. Final Fantasy VII was delayed and got it right. Marvel Avengers and Cyberpunk didn't. And a lot of people are using cartoons like this, no, release it. Okay, we'll release it. Why so buggy? What? The thing is, it was delayed. And when people ask you to release it, it's because it's a beloved developer or a beloved series. I mean, just go and look on YouTube about the quote-unquote amazing graphics of Pokemon Sword and Shield and the controversies within the Pokemon community about how Sword and Shield was really not amazing graphics and animations compared to some of the games before it. And people did side-by-side videos showing old footage of Pokken Arena, I think it was, and the new one on the Switch. And Pokken Arena was demolishing it. And then the apologists were like, well, it's okay if the graphics aren't going to be that good because it's going to have this amazing Pokedex. And no, it didn't. It didn't have the number of Pokemon that it said it was going to. So people were like, no. You may not be getting a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but your peanut butter is going to be amazing. And then it was proven that the peanut butter was basically horse crap spread on toast. And everybody's like, well, shit, what the hell happened over here? We were accepting of no jelly on our sandwich because we thought the peanut butter was going to be amazing. And it's not. So will always absolutely stand by gamers speaking with their wallet. And if money went out of your wallet for this game and you're unhappy with it, put that money back in your wallet. You don't let anybody guilt you into it. Don't let any gamer press, gamer news, game journos convince you otherwise and make you think you're being whiny and bitchy. If you don't want to wait, then don't wait and get your money back. We are dealing with a pandemic. Money could be used in a lot of other things. Alternatively, CD Projekt Red is a pretty solid company. So shuffling this into the vault for a little while banking it, moving it off to the side, playing some of these other things first or whatever, um, yeah, go ahead and do that too. There's tons of things. I mean, Godfall was kind of a wreck. Hades was an absolute masterpiece and a darling for everybody. Outer Worlds was a darling for everybody. Bleeding Edge was a bit of a wreck. Uh, Carrion, did pretty well for itself as just an example of some of what we see here. Void Bastards is a little indie title that was considered very good and a lot of fun by people. Games can get it right. Huge ass companies like CD Projekt Red, which generally produce good things, can get it right. But people flop sometimes. Alien Colonial Marines was messed up because of one spelling mistake in the AI. And when an A was flipped to an E or an E was flipped to an A, and it fixed everything, it apparently was a decent game. Final Fantasy XIV came back from trash to be a phenomenal game that was beating WoW and Biffa. No Man's Sky was a garbage game years ago, and I think the developer just won an award at the Game Awards and was so shocked he did a spit take, if I saw that thumbnail correctly. So feel entitled to do what you want. If you want your money back because it's a garbage game, get it back, especially on the older consoles. If you got a PS5 and you expected Cyberpunk to be your huge gift for giving yourself a PS5 and it's not up to snuff, send it back. Send that burger back and get one that's cooked the way you asked it. If you asked for it to be medium, little bloody, and you got a black hockey puck, then send it back. Or you can say, I wanted this without pickles, and there's one tiny little pickle on there. Take the pickle off and eat the burger and deal with it. But yeah, Cyberpunk has got some issues, and nobody really expected it to be this bad. I mean, it's so sad that we are dealing with Marvel Avengers Alliance being so garbage, and then this happens. This looks like Requiem Avenging Angel in 1999 or 2000, 2001. These kind of polygonal graphics over here that supposedly it was an NPC talking before his textures had loaded. Game-breaking bugs, low-resolution graphics, console crashes. That's really scary when things crash on consoles. I've seen some streamers that were crashing, and yeah, it's oof. Yeah, I've seen some crazy neck things too, where people have 5-mile long necks. Yeah, there's the dongs. I think people's sexes were changing. They made a man, but then they either had no sex or had hoo-haws down there, and this Silence of the Lambs face skin going on over here, or Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't know what that one. I don't know what these are gonna be. Oof. Oh wow. Poor. Oh god. Poor Keanu. That looks familiar, but it doesn't look like Keanu. This looks like some other character that I've seen, and I'm not placing it. I think it looks like the machinima from and the pants were on the ground. Gordon Freeman. It's the old Half-Life machinima going on over there. That was a big ass ad. Yeah, oof. Yeah, I mean this is not super hot with colors. Wow. It seems a texture bug for Witcher 2 and 3 is also happening in Cyberpunk. Yeah, it's out there. I would recommend. Oh, yeah, there's the T-posing. That's the one we've heard a lot about. But I think maybe the best bet is people chill out on this game for a little while until the January patch, and maybe play some other things, but loses a third of its value on game bugs. I heard that they had made all their development money back in the sales and everything, but I wonder if the shares closed down 7.6 at Warsaw after tumbling as much as 25% during the day. The stock has lost 33% of its market value. The game became available, first new title since 2015. Yikes. Oof. That's bad. PlayStation 4 version is rated 2.8 out of 10. Critic score of 90 out of 100 on the PC. I wonder what the player score is on the PC. I mean, look, I say give them a chance, but if you want your money back, absolutely get your money back. I don't think anybody can blame you, and I don't think anybody should shame you out of it. So, hey, are you playing Cyberpunk? And if you are, what system are you playing it on? And how is it going for you? I'm really curious to know because I'm going to be playing it myself at some point in the future over here. Thanks for stopping by, G for G. And hopefully we'll get a couple more videos out before Christmas. Marvel Avengers Alliance Redux updates. Nothing new since the last one. And, you know, there may be some more personal videos coming up on the channel soon, but you'll see. Have a good one, everybody.